All right, we are at 12:02, so let's get started. It looks like we're close to pretty evenly split between students and families, which is exciting. So welcome. Thank you so much for being here for our panel on safety and security at UChicago. My name is Katie Welch, and I work in college programming and orientation in the college, and I'll be moderating this panel. So today we'll be hearing from Belinda Cortez Vasquez, who is the Associate Dean of Students for Student Affairs and Director of UChicago Help. We also have Kenton Rainey, who's the Chief of Police for the University of Chicago Police Department. And then we have Michael Kwiatkowski, who's the Executive Director for Campus Safety. So just to give you an overview of how this panel will work, for the first part, we'll hear from our three panelists in turn, and then we'll be opening the floor for questions for the remaining time. Any questions that you have for the panelists can be put in the Q&A section of Zoom. You should see that down at the bottom of your screens. Within that Q&A function, there is the ability to upvote questions. So if you see a question that you want answered that's already in there, feel free to just hit upvote. And once we enter the Q&A portion of the panel, I'll give you all a second to put in any final questions and to also upvote any of the questions that you see in there already that you want answered. We'll start with the most upvoted questions and work our way down from there for as much time as we have. We'll also have someone monitoring the chat function. So if you have any technical difficulties, feel free to just drop a note in there and we'll try and help you figure that out. So with that, let me just switch over to our PowerPoint and I will pass the mic off to Belinda. Let me just give you control. So okay, there you go. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Good day, everyone. It's good morning, good afternoon. You're coming from all over the United States and probably maybe even the world. So good day, good evening, whatever it might be, wherever you're at. My name is Belinda Vasquez, and thank you, Katie, for the introduction. My name is Belinda Vasquez. I'm Associate Dean of Students in the University for Student Affairs. And I'm also the director of UChicago Help. I sort of went a little too forward. Can we go to the beginning title page, Katie? I'm sorry. Somehow. I apologize. I am also the director of UChicago Help, and then for the next few minutes, I'll be speaking to you about UChicago Help. I have been at the university for 16 years, and I'm really excited. Every year around this time, I get really excited to meet all of you, even if it's virtually. Let's talk a little bit about UChicago Help. The University of Chicago has a system and practices that help support and care for our students and members of the university community. Our intent is to create an environment where all of you can learn and contribute to the creation of knowledge. And what I want to talk to you about is the system that we have. The university encourages students and supports students and respects students and their independence. And students are trusted, once you get to college, you're trusted to begin to manage your own affairs, including decisions related to academics, financial concerns, and personal issues. But at the same time, we want to be able to offer you extensive university resources to help you with any one of these issues. In addition to providing daily support and engagement, the university also responds quickly when any of you might be in any kind of need of assistance in an emergency or in a crisis. We are available to be able to assist you in navigating academic and personal difficulties while ensuring that the university community members can also connect students who might need some extra support and assistance in a timely manner. So what I'm going to talk about is a couple of programs that comprise UChicago Help. UChicago Help is comprised of the Dean on Call program, the Sexual Assault Dean on Call program, and the Bias Education and Support Team. So let's focus a little bit on the Dean on Call program. The Dean on Call program is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It is a university administrator who, just like as it sounds, is on call to be able to respond to you. The Dean on Call program is a collaborative effort between campus and student life and the University of Chicago Police Department. So we work very closely together. The Dean on Call is an official responsible for providing referrals and information and support to students during the time of an emergency. The Dean on Call can intervene at times to de-escalate any situation between students and other members of the campus or community. And we work with university resources and offices to coordinate the university's response to ensure that students always receive due consideration and fair treatment. We also monitor a situation and an incident to make sure that students have been directed to the appropriate resource and continues to get the right support throughout the time or until the incident passes. The next program that I want to talk about a bit is the Sexual Assault Dean on Call program. The Sexual Assault Dean on Call program is also a university administrator who is specifically trained to be able to respond to gender-based violence. They have received 40 hours of trauma-informed crisis intervention training. This administrator is available also 24/7. The Sexual Assault Dean on Call can provide emotional and administrative support to any students who are survivors of gender-based violence. We will provide basic procedural information, legal information, medical information, and referrals to other resources either on campus or within the Chicago community. The Sexual Assault Dean on Call can help students make informed decisions about every single next step that they may want to take into consideration. We can speak to a student survivor in confidence. So we are a confidential resource. Illinois has designated us as such because of the 40-hour training that we received. And we will only share information once we are given consent to do so. So how do you contact these individuals? That's an important question to ask. You can connect with a Dean on Call or a Sexual Assault Dean on Call at any time. And there are two ways that we encourage students and or family members who are concerned about their students to connect with either the Dean on Call or the Sexual Assault Dean on Call. They can either contact the University Department, Chicago Police Department at their dispatch at that number 773-702-8181. We encourage all of you to put that into your phones and ask that they page a Dean on Call or the Sexual Assault Dean on Call. When you do so, please be prepared to provide a 10-digit callback number because it is a paging system. And by the way, you do not have to tell the University of Chicago Police Department why it is that you want to connect with the Dean on Call or the Sexual Assault Dean on Call. You can just simply say that you're a student and you want to talk to the Dean on Call or the Sexual Assault Dean on Call. And they're available 24/7. So it's important that you know that. Another way to contact the Dean on Call or the Sexual Assault Dean on Call is by using our UChicago Safe app. And you can directly text either the Dean on Call or the Sexual Assault Dean on Call. You can download the UChicago Safe app. There's an Android feature as well as an iOS Apple feature. And once you're in that app, by pressing the UChicago Help button, you will get an option to directly text the Dean on Call or directly text the Sexual Assault Dean on Call. Let me talk to you a little bit about the Bias Education and Support Team. This is a team of individuals that are available to help students deal with situations that involve biases that can cause great hurt and great offense. Students who experience incidents of bias based on any of the protected classes are encouraged to seek the assistance of BEST. The Bias Education and Support Team is available to support students affected by these incidences. We're not an investigative body, so that's important to know. So we're not there to do an investigation. We're also not a disciplinary body. Although students may be seeking some disciplinary action, sometimes they just need a time to sort of process what happened, to have a conversation, and to really understand what are all of the options that are available. Sometimes students are not looking for a disciplinary result, but rather would want to have a particular area or organization to have a little bit of more information regarding the incident that occurred and facilitate that possibility. So the bias education and support team will ensure that we can provide that support to students. Additionally, in a formal way, the bias education and support team does indeed document the incident. We properly record it. And for purposes of ongoing climate assessment, we make sure that we have the documentation and that we do the appropriate follow-up through training and educational opportunities when we realize that there might be a place or a particular organization that can really benefit from that type of support. So another way to be able to access all this information that you have available here in this webinar is by going to help.uchicago.edu. I do recommend that you visit this website because additionally to being able to utilize this website to report a bias incident, because we do have an online form that you can utilize. So unlike the Dean on Call or the sexual assault Dean on Call that you can call and speak to someone online, speak to someone immediately, a bias incident, we don't necessarily have someone that's available 24/7, but you can definitely report it 24/7 utilizing an online form, and we will respond to you within 24 hours or the next business day if it's a weekend to be able to connect with you. But help.uchicago.edu also has other relevant information for you. Sometimes you want to report a concern. It may not be related to bias, but you are either concerned about the physical or mental well-being of a peer, another student. You're worried about their behavior. You're worried about what they might be saying to you. And you're thinking that there might be future actions that cause some concern for you. And you want them to be followed up with appropriately and kindly and with care. And you think that this is not necessarily a police matter, but you want somebody to just check in on your friends, or you want somebody to check in on your relative, on your son or daughter. You can feel free to report your concerns online through help.uchicago.edu. There is a report a concern form. Or additionally, the Dean on Call, which is the administrator that I spoke to you about previously, can also be available to respond to you and be able to speak to you. So going to help.uchicago.edu affords you the opportunity to review all the options that are available to you. So you can decide what's the best means by which you can follow up on, especially if you have a concern about a peer or maybe your own son or daughter. By the way, reports can also be submitted anonymously. Sometimes people don't want to call a Dean on Call. They don't want to identify themselves, but they still have a concern about a friend, another student. You can definitely feel free to utilize the online reporting form, and you do not have to give your information. We will say that providing your information is helpful for us. We would never identify you if you're not in a position to want to be identified, but at least we can follow up with you and really gather information and be able to ask the right questions so we can do the appropriate follow-up. In the process, especially when we have a concern about a particular student who might be needing a level of personal intervention, we may work with other people other offices to assist us. And we want to be completely transparent about what those offices are. So on this slide, you'll see the various offices that could help to inform us so that we are definitely responding to a student holistically. And as I said, what a Dean on Call does is ensure that we refer students to the appropriate resource so that case management of a particular issue can continue. And any one of these offices might be offices that we work with: Housing and Residence Life, the Center for Identity Inclusion, Office of International Affairs, Student Disability Services, the University of Chicago Medicine ER, UChicago Student Wellness, and of course, your area Dean of Students. I think that is all for my area. And I'll be available to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you so much, Belinda. Kenton, I will turn it over to you. Just let me know when you're ready for the presentation to start.
Thank you, Katie. Good afternoon and welcome virtually to the University of Chicago. We're so happy and excited that you or your family member has selected UChicago for your college experience. I'm Kenton Rainey, and I'm the Chief of Police for the University of Chicago Police Department. I have over 40 years of law enforcement experience, but this is only my 4th year at the university. I'm a native Chicagoan. I live in the Hyde Park area where the university sits, and I'm a very proud member of the UChicago family. Chicago is a great city, fun city, and as your student or you transitions to the university and venture out and to get to know Chicago, we want it to be an enjoyable and safe experience. We have prepared a video presentation that describes UCPD and campus security and some of the services we provide on and around campus. Katie, would you play the video?
Here, we have a full-service police department that has approximately 100 full-time commissioned officers that are trained and certified by the state of Illinois. Our department is accredited by the Commission of Accreditation and Law Enforcement Agencies, also known as CALEA. Please take a moment to program your phone with the University of Chicago's Police Department's main number. That will be 773-702-8181. Again, 773-702-8181. When you're on campus, in an emergency, you can dial 123 from a campus phone or 911. The University of Chicago's Police Department monitors the Chicago Police Department's radio, so we'll be able to give you service as well. In a non-emergency, you may dial 2 with the extension 8181 from a campus phone. And also, you can dial 311. The headquarters of the University Police Department is located at 6054 South Drexel Avenue. That is on the corner of 61st and Drexel. Enter on 61st Street to gain entry. The Department of Safety and Security produces an annual security and fire safety report. That can be found at securityreport.uchicago.edu. The report includes policies and procedures, resources and services, crime statistics, and tips. The UCPD Daily Crime and Fire Log can be found at incidentreports.uchicago.edu. Throughout our campus, we have approximately 380 emergency phones. You can identify the emergency phones by the blue light that is on top. Keep in mind that each emergency phone has a specific address, and an officer will be dispatched to that phone immediately once you activate it by pressing the red button. By pressing the red button on the emergency phone, you will be connected to an emergency dispatcher. This is a 24/7 service provided to connect you with our emergency communication center. The patrol area for the University of Chicago Police Department is very widespread. The patrol area goes as far north as 37th Street, south to 64th Street, east to Lakeshore Drive, and west to Cottage Grove Avenue. On our campus, the University of Chicago Police Department serves as a primary police agency. Off of the campus, however, the City of Chicago serves as the primary police department. In a non-emergency or emergency situation, the University of Chicago Police Department will respond in an extended patrol area to ensure off-campus safety to all affiliates, as well as the charter schools to be provided with the highest quality of service. Additional services provided by the University Police Department and the Department of Safety and Security are Sea Alert and Safety Alerts, Crisis Intervention Teams, Motorist Assistance, Bicycle Registration, our Stop Tag Laptop Program, our Safety Escort Program, our Daytime and Night Ride Shuttles, Safe Zone, our Safety Mobile App, community engagement programs, RAD self-defense program, and our fingerprinting services. Our C Alert service is an emergency notification that requires immediate action. University members are automatically enrolled into this service with the information provided by the university directory. To verify that your information is correct or to register more numbers, go to calert.uchicago.edu. The university has adopted a policy regarding alert activations and the appropriate method of delivery. Our security alert service has no immediate threat. It is information only. To review the policy, visit uchicago.edu/safety/alerts. Our members of the University Police Department have received Crisis Intervention Training, CIT, and know how to interact, intervene, and de-escalate situations with anyone who may need an evaluation. If you or someone you know needs emergency police assistance due to a mental health related crisis, please contact us at 773-702-8181 and ask for a crisis intervention team trained officer to respond to the situation. Please clearly state the crisis is a mental health issue. A DENA-on-call liaison will also be contacted to offer additional resources. Our officers, along with our community service officers, will provide motorist assistance. Our university police cars and community service vehicles are equipped with battery boost capabilities for your vehicle in case your vehicle's battery dies. Also, for each shift, there are officers certified as locksmiths. In case you get locked outside of your vehicle, we can also contact roadside services for further assistance. If you have a bicycle or scooter, you can register your bike with the University Police Department by contacting the Community Relations Unit at 773-702-6008. Again, that's 773-702-6008. The benefit of registering your bicycle is that your attached ID sticker will link your information to our database. The University Police will be able to reach out to you directly to return your property. You can also register your laptop the same way you register your bicycle. These registration programs do not serve as a GPS tracker, but they serve as a crime deterrent. When in need of a safety escort, you can contact the University Police Department and have an officer give you a safety escort to your destination. This is a 24/7 service provided in our patrol area that you can request by contacting the University Police Department at our main number. To ensure your safe commute, plan your route out before you leave, and familiarize yourself with your options by visiting bus.uchicago.edu and transitchicago.com. When it is possible, travel with friends, and if you think you're being followed, cross the street. Change direction. Go to a well-lit public place where others are present. If a person demands money or possessions, give them what they demand and create a safe distance. Keep alert and don't let a conversation on a cell phone or the use of headphones make you unaware of your surroundings. Please familiarize yourself and follow all Illinois laws related to bicyclists. Ride with the flow of traffic, wear a helmet, and do not ride on sidewalks. Please walk your bike in areas where there is dense pedestrian traffic. The University of Chicago Police Department provides a safe zone. It's located in our lobby for individuals who pay for goods found online through social media channels. Safe zones also allow custodial exchanges between parents and legal guardians in accordance with their custody agreements. The headquarters lobby is located at 850 East 61st Street. It's available between the hours of 7 a.m. and 10 p.m. If the exchange occurs after 5 p.m., please contact our Emergency Communication Center to be allowed into the building. The Emergency Communication Center can be reached through the University Police Department's main number, 773-702-8181. There's no appointment necessary to do a safe zone exchange. Campus safety at your fingertips. You can go to the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store to download the UChicago Safe application. The app has a mobile blue light feature that works exactly like the emergency phones. Once activated, it sends out your location to an officer to give you assistance. There's also the Friend Walk feature. You give the dispatcher your starting and ending location, and the dispatcher watches your trip in live time on a map, making sure that you reach your destination safely. You can also use the Report a Tip feature. If you do not feel safe at the time or place, you can report a tip and text it in, relaying the information to the police department in a safe and discreet way. In addition, there's an Emergency Contacts tab where you can store your personal emergency contacts. There are other features to help you during emergencies, such as natural disasters and active threat incidents, to keep you safe. The University Police Department has a Community Relations Unit, also known as CREW. CREW helps build and strengthen the relationship between the members of the UChicago community and the University Police Department through education, intervention, and policing initiatives. The Community Relations Unit works to identify and analyze crime hazards in our community and comes up with strategies to minimize them. Last year, the University Police Department partnered with more than 20 community organizations and attended more than 160 community meetings. We worked with 4 area aldermen on programming and strategies to implement in our community. To contact the Community Relations Unit, you can contact them at 773-702-6008 or at ucpd-cru@uchicago.edu. You can also follow us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/UCPDCRU. We also implement COPS training, community-oriented policing and problem-solving training. This is a policing strategy that the University of Chicago follows. COPS promotes community, government, and police partnerships and proactive problem-solving to help reduce crime and build a safer community. The University of Chicago police officers are trained on the COPS philosophies, and members of the community are also invited to attend COPS training that is periodically offered by the department. There's also an online community-oriented policing course available at any time at www.copstrainingportal.org. The University Police Department offers a self-defense class. The UC RAD self-defense program teaches women realistic tactics and techniques including awareness, prevention, risk reduction, and avoidance. It progresses through a basic hands-on self-defense training program. This course is taught by certified instructors and provides participants with a reference manual that outlines the entire physical defense program. The RAD system, or the Rape Aggression Defense System, is taught at many colleges and universities. The growing widespread acceptance of this system is primarily due to the ease and effectiveness of the tactics, solid research, legal defensibility, and unique teaching methodology. For more information to enroll in a class, visit www.safety-uchicago.edu/services/self_defense_class. The University Police Department provides a free fingerprinting service. This is available to all members of the university community. In addition to personal safety, having your fingerprints taken by a law enforcement agency could assist in background investigations to receive clearance for work permits or temporary visas. Anyone interested in this service is asked to make an appointment by calling 773-702-6008. As a reminder, if you have any questions or comments regarding this presentation or Community Relations Unit information, please contact us at 773-702-6008 or at cops@uchicago.edu. Thank you.
invite Mike and Kenton. Do you want to take it away?
Mike is up next.
Sure. Good afternoon. Again, I'm Mike Kwiatkowski. I'm Executive Director for Campus Safety here at the University of Chicago. And I would like to echo Kenton and Belinda's welcome to the University of Chicago community. I just wanted to provide a brief overview of the Department of Safety and Security and highlight a few of our comprehensive safety resources that we provide in collaboration with the University of Chicago Police Department. The Department of Safety and Security itself includes 5 key units that all collaborate as a team to enhance campus safety and security. These departments include the University of Chicago Police Department, Transportation and Parking, Campus Safety, Emergency Management, and Environmental Health and Safety. There are links to each of these departments and the services they provide in the UChicago Safe app. And again, I really would like to highlight and encourage everyone on the call today attending the presentation to download and take a look at the UChicago Safe app. As we mentioned, it's both available for iOS and Android. And it's just a great way to connect with all of the resources that we discussed here today. The app is free. It does not require registration and works anywhere within the country. So there's no geo restrictions on the use of the app. So please, when you have a moment, we can't encourage you enough to take a look at that. And Whitney posted the link in the chat where you can find some more information about UChicago Safe and where you can download the app for either iPhone or Android. And I also wanted to mention quick, in addition to the University of Chicago Police Department, we offer an outside safety ambassador program. So this program, we deploy safety ambassadors across campus every day, beginning at 4:30 p.m. and running through 8:30 a.m. The ambassadors are assigned to exterior posts across campus in key areas. They're wearing high visibility uniforms, and they're there to really supplement our safety and security resources. They provide directions, campus information, they provide safety escorts, and they can also quickly connect you with University of Chicago Police Department or Chicago Police Department resources. So they are really an important part of our overall safety and security program here at the University of Chicago. And again, welcome, and please, when you have a moment, take a look at the UChicago Safe app, because you'll find a lot of helpful links and further information there. Thank you.
As covered in the video, University of Chicago Police Department practices the community-oriented policing and problem-solving philosophy, or COPS. COPS is the forming of partnerships with our community stakeholders on and off campus in order to address issues of crime and community wellness. COPS is delivered through our geographical team policing or public service area structure. And what this structure does, it puts a cadre of officers in various areas throughout the campus in our patrol area for 1 year. And they don't move around. So they become very, very familiar with what's going on and the people in those areas. Utilizing the COPS philosophy and working with our stakeholders, last year, we achieved one of the lowest reported crime rates in over 45 years. In addition, our department has been implementing many of the best practice recommendations contained in President Obama's 21st Century Policing Task Force report to ensure community accountability. For example, anyone hired to become a University of Chicago Police Department must have a bachelor's degree from an accredited college or university. This can and does help to ensure our personnel are better rounded and are used to working in diverse settings. All of our marked patrol cars have in-car cameras, and our uniformed officers are equipped with body-worn cameras, so all enforcement encounters are recorded. The university has also established an independent review committee, or IRC, which is comprised of UChicago faculty, staff, and students, which reviews all citizens' complaints made against University of Chicago Police Department members for completeness. I too invite you to visit our website so you can learn more about the department. Thank you.
All right, thank you all so much. So it looks like we still have some time for questions. So if you in the audience want to add any more questions, feel free. Also, take a look and see if there are any that you are on your mind as well that you want to upvote. I'll just start with the one that's at the top. So this can be for anyone to answer. Is the UChicago Safe app specifically for students, or do you recommend that parents download it as well?
We recommend that app to anybody coming to the University of Chicago campus or interested in the University of Chicago campus. So it's for use by students, faculty, staff, visitors, or anybody just seeking additional information regarding the University of Chicago and the safety and security resources that we provide. There is one caveat to that, that mobile blue light feature that was discussed briefly. Within the University of Chicago Police Department service area, when that feature is activated, it does two things. It sends your GPS location to our emergency communication center, and it also dials our emergency communication center. So we can send UCPD resources to respond to the mobile blue light activation. Outside of the University of Chicago Police Department service area, that dials 911 to get you in contact with local emergency resources.
Awesome, thank you, Mike. Another question, what do the deans on call do in the intervention process?
That's a really good question. The deans on call are trained to be able to handle each situation case by case. Generally speaking, what the dean on call attempts to do is to have an in-person conversation with a student. It really depends on what the situation might be. But the point is to try to touch base with the student in person. This could be over the phone. It could be by text. It could be even by email. Pre-COVID, we would readily make ourselves available to go to people's place of location and residence halls. Those of you that will be living on campus, which I think is all of you, we work very closely with the housing and residence life folks. So sometimes the dean on call will be contacted first. The dean on call will work in collaboration with the housing and residence life folks. And together we'd make a plan of action depending on what's reported to us and how quickly we need to intervene. But oftentimes, especially for our first and second year students who are still on campus, it's a housing individual who may do the initial contact to make sure that A, the student is okay, that they're connected with resources. It depends on what we're intervening about. Sometimes the intervention might be an actual, it might be a mental health issue. It might be a wellness concern, someone that hasn't been seen in a couple of days, or maybe the last time that they were seen kind of sad or depressed, and people just want to make sure they're okay. So we don't try to do anything that escalates a situation. We often try to employ the people that might know the person best. And that's why if a housing person might know the person best, it might make sense for a resident head or the assistant director of housing to make contact with the student rather than someone who's a dean on call may not know the student personally. So we'll use various intervention strategies. And then at our disposition, once we've made contact with a student, we have access to 24-hour therapist on call, 24-hour nurse on call, and we also have access to 24-hour community resources that might be helpful for us. And that may also include UCPD if it's necessary. But we will utilize the various resources that are available on campus and within the community. And most of those things are available 24/7.
Thanks, Belinda. So the next question we have is there a planned change in policing activity due to the uptick in violence across the Chicago area?
I'll take that. As I previously stated, we practice the community-oriented policing and problem-solving philosophy. And although there is a uptick across Chicago within our particular patrol area, our violent crime rate and reported crime rate is down. It's like a 45-year low, and that's working again with our community stakeholders on and off campus. We work very closely with CPD. We work very closely with, as Mike talked about, safety and security, making sure that the students and other members of the UChicago family are educated about what's going on in the area.
Thanks, Kenton. You just mentioned the Chicago PD. The next question just asked, is there a difference between UCPD and Chicago PD in terms of responsibilities and jurisdiction?
Yes, Chicago Police Department is the primary law enforcement agency for the city of Chicago. And they have primary jurisdiction of all crimes occurring off campus. And the more serious crimes that occur on campus, they will investigate those as well, unless they ask UCPD to take the lead. That's the primary difference. They are the lead agency in the city of Chicago.
Great, thank you, Kenton. So this next question is about the RAD training. Someone is curious if it will still be provided in person, or because of COVID, will it be available virtually, or not sure yet?
Not sure yet. Not sure yet.
Understood.
Great. So someone has a question about locking up bikes. They say, do you have a security lock that is recommended, or the most effective ways of locking up bikes? I think on the little image it showed like a bike with a second lock for the front wheel and back wheel. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
The U-lock is the most recommended lock to secure your bicycle. But some individuals do secure it with a second locking mechanism via a chain and a padlock. But by far, the U-lock is the most secure way to secure your bike to one of our bike racks.
I know one of you talked about how closely you work with housing. Can you talk a little bit about how security and housing partner, how security works with student housing, anything along those lines?
Well, I can talk about the relationship that the Dean on Call program has with housing. Certainly, I think housing has a pretty extensive security security features, things such as utilizing their cards for swipe mechanisms to come in and out of the building. I believe all of the residence halls have front desks. I can't get into the intricacies of each of those because I don't run residence halls and college and residence life, but certainly they have levels and levels of secure systems and mechanisms. But with regard to sort of the well-being of a student, the Deans on Call and housing and residence life work very closely together. Many of our trainings are done together, and we certainly try to understand and recognize our students and their trends, and be able to have a personal touch with each of our students such that we can make personal referrals for students in terms of being able to create a caring and safe environment. I think from my perspective, and more from an emotional standpoint, caring standpoint, or when crisis occurs, certainly in terms of the physical safety of the residence halls, I can't speak to the specifics, but there are mechanisms in place to ensure that students have a safe environment with key cards and the like. And I don't know, Katie, will they have an opportunity to speak with college, with housing and residence life?
I know that there will be during orientation.
Orientation,
I know that they
yeah.
have some resources for how to get in touch with them on the orientation website.
And I do know, and Mike and Kenton can correct me, but those ambassadors that was spoken about earlier, they are placed in locations right outside of the residence halls and outside of classrooms and our quads. So in terms of being able to connect with people very quickly from a safety and security standpoint, I think that's available as well.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if Kenton or Mike, you have anything to add in terms of like the actual security features within housing.
Yeah, just that each residence halls has a robust physical security and security technology system, as Belinda was discussing. You have to be a resident of the facility, of the residence hall to gain access. There's a visitor management and check-in procedure at each facility. And each facility at the entrances has video management or a camera system too, in addition to their on-premise personnel that are providing those visitor management and security services.
Awesome, thank you, Mike. So one of our last questions says, when do students use the UCPD escort system? Can they use it during ordinary times, or is it only for special circumstances like in times of emergency?
They can, yeah, I'll be more than happy to take that. They can use the safety escort app anytime that they like, day or night. And we encourage it.
And the in-person escorts are available 24/7 also by calling the main UCPD number, the 773-702-8181. And those safety escorts are available anywhere within the University of Chicago Police Department service area.
Great. I forget who was talking about the friend walk on the safety app. Someone just wanted to, they think they maybe missed what it was. So could someone re-explain what the friend walk is?
Oh, I would be more than happy to go over the friend walk. So what that does, when you activate the friend walk feature, you send a short link via an SMS or text message to your selected friend or contact. When that contact opens that link, they see your location in real time. And when you arrive at your destination, you hit that, you select that you've arrived safely, and it notifies your friend or contact who's monitoring the friend walk that you have arrived safely. There was a question earlier about the app tracking your GPS location at all time. We do not do that. The only time your GPS location is provided to the UCPD or Department of Safety and Security is when you activate that mobile blue light feature. So we are very intentional to make sure that we are following all security standards and practices. We're not tracking phone devices unless you activate that emergency mobile blue light feature. That's the only time your location is provided to the Department of Safety and Security. And that's another reason why we didn't require registration or authentication, because we wanted people to be comfortable with the protocols using that, knowing that that's not something that's tracking them.
And I want to add something regarding crime trends. We meet daily and get crime analysis information from the Chicago Police Department, as well as what we maintain here internally. And as we meet daily, we adjust as needed based, and again, within our COPS philosophy. It's designed to expand or contract based on what's going on. And we regularly shift personnel into particular areas if we see any type of uptick in crime.
Thank you, Kenton. So I have a couple more questions about the app and the escort system. So someone was asking if that escort service is available to students who live off campus as well as on campus.
Yeah, so that escort service is available, that safety escort is available anywhere within the University of Chicago Police Department patrol area. So that 37th to 65th Street, that includes, the bulk of that being off campus. So anywhere within the University of Chicago Police Department service area, those safety escorts are available. And then with the Friend Walk feature, that's available to use anywhere within the country. So that's not, that Friend Walk on the app's not limited to just the University of Chicago Police Department service area.
Good to know.
Great. And then going off of that, someone was wondering if once they're outside of those boundaries, kind of what you would recommend. If they were asking if the city of Chicago has something similar to the Safe app, which I haven't heard about, but maybe you have. But I guess just kind of general tips for once they're off campus, maybe downtown, kind of how they can be aware of their surroundings.
I'm not aware of Chicago providing that same level of service. Downtown is really safe in comparison to the rest of the city, but like any large metropolitan city in the world, you need to pay attention to your surroundings. You should not be walking with your cell phone in hand, paying attention only to the cell phone. Getting distracted by listening to music on your headphones. And again, this is in any urban environment, any country that I've been in, as I've traveled around the world, the same applies.
And Mike, you did indicate that the Friend Walk could be utilized in other locations, however, right?
Correct.
So if friends coordinate with each other, they can utilize it outside of the campus. So one of the other reasons why they should download the app. And then certainly always, one of the things that I always encourage is, people should always know where you're at, let friends know where you're at, and go with friends. Buddy system works. We recommend that people go in groups and that you don't lose track of each other, and that you have a means of and ways of communicating with each other, and that you can triangulate with each other if you have to.
Great. There are a couple questions just about the neighborhood surrounding UChicago. I think there's some concern about, from word of mouth or from the media, feeling that maybe some neighborhoods around UChicago are less safe. Someone asked, how do people not familiar with the area find out where those areas are? Maybe areas that you recommend students not walk in at night. Anything that you would say about that?
If you have any questions about neighborhoods beyond our borders, my suggestion would be contact the city of Chicago. They would be in a better position to give you that information. But again, in any urban environment, whether you're on campus or off campus, you should really, really pay attention to your surroundings. And as Belinda said, the buddy system always works. You want to walk with a friend and take advantage of all of these safety applications that Safety and Security has put on the Safety app.
Yeah, and if I can highlight, I mean, one of the things, and I think you'll learn some of this during orientation, we're certainly not going to be able to cover all of this in this 1 hour, but CTA, the Chicago Transit Authority, they have Plan Your Route. So I do think that looking at the city of Chicago and the resources that they do offer, I mean, clearly as a University of Chicago, we've taken some extra steps to work with our students, but that you can plan your route. And if you're going to be using public transportation, I do recommend that you know what buses you can take, plan it out. There's nothing wrong with that. And following the directions that the CTA gives you, and not trying to wing being adventurous in a city. I think all of us have had occasion to be tourists in different locations, and winging it is just not the way to go. That's not how you do things anywhere. And certainly, Chicago's no different than any other location. You don't want to wing anything. Plan out your day, have an itinerary, know what are your transportation options.
Thank you all so much. It looks like there are no more questions unless anyone has one last one. I'll give it 1 second, but Kenton, Mike, and Belinda, we appreciate you very much. And thank you so much for giving us your time and your extensive knowledge. And how would you recommend, if people have any additional questions, how would you recommend that they contact you?
I'm easily contacted, belinda@uchicago.edu. So please do that. And if you go to help.uchicago.edu, my name is listed all over the website, including how to contact me during remote times.
And I can be contacted at krainey@uchicago.edu.
All right, well, I guess we are all done for the day. This will be, this recording will be put on the orientation website. So if you need to check back on the resources or the phone numbers or the websites that were included, feel free to go there and check it out and replay it. But thank you all so much. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Welcome.
you.
Have a good rest of your day, everyone.